in pastoring for 20
Oh, I've
plus
been
years,
pastoring 42.
42 years
Yeah.
that you've been pastoring.
Yes.
What has been the biggest lesson that pastoring and growing a church has taught you about yourself?
It's humble. It has humbled me.
Mm.
I didn't realize pastoring will teach you, will show you, will reveal the level of your ego.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because you're going to have these highs. I guess it's like an entertainer.
Yeah.
You'll have this time when you're hot and you think you're going to be there forever. Then you have this time when you hit that ground and you realize you're not. And you'll have this time when the church is just growing amazingly. You can do no wrong. And you have this time when it cools off. And it revealed to me the fragility of my ego and how in a lot of ways I'm very vain. Like when I came in here today, I said, I need a monitor because I want to see myself, you know. And I really do, but I'm breaking that part of me, that vanity part of me, because pastoring has taught me that in a lot of ways I've been a very vain man. Now I'm learning to be a humble man. Pastoring is yet teaching me, you know, first things first. It's all about God. It's all about service. It doesn't matter if it's 1,000 people or 10.
Yeah.
Preach to the 10 like you would the 1,000.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's broken me in great ways.
It's broken you in great ways.
Great ways.
Well, talk about breaking. You talk a lot about breaking soul ties in your messaging.
Yeah.
And that was such a point of interest that I wanted to talk to you about because we hear about soul ties. Dr. J. Barnett says, one of the quotes that he said, I don't even know if we delved into it into the interview, but he says that you can have a soul tie with someone who you've never had sex with.
I agree.
And so you talk a lot about the soul ties and the breaking of them in a lot of your courses. What is the common thread with soul ties that you're seeing? And then what is a soul tie first?
Well, a soul tie, you know, some will say, oh, that's not in the Bible. And it is not. The term is not in the Bible. The concept is. The Bible talks about how if a man or a woman, if a man lays down with a harlot or a woman lays down with a whoremonger, there's almost like this demonic marriage between you and that person sexually. You become one with that individual.
I kind of want to laugh right now because in my mind, Pastor, I'm just thinking. But anyway, go ahead. I'm here.
You didn't want to finish? You didn't want
Child, a demonic marriage.
A demonic marriage.
Yes, sir. It's some demons out here.
For real, for real. Yeah. STDs, sexually transmitted demons. Yeah. You hadn't heard that one?
Sexually transmitted demons?
Sexually transmitted demons.
No, but I think I've encountered one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the first step to freedom.
I might have contracted a sexually transmitted demon, and you know who you are. So anyway, go on, Pastor.
So there's this connection made, you know, that we think we can just, this is the hookup culture age.
Yeah.
And we think we can just hook up with people and there are no repercussions. And the reality is, in a lot of instances, when you get out of their bed, they never leave your head. And so you have a lot of women in particularly that buy into this idea that I can sleep around. It doesn't matter. I can be nasty like men. And I'll have no problems. And then they go from not understanding that the feminine soul is different. The feminine spirit is different than a man's. It's much more sensitive. And so she has all of these ideas, all of these different experiences, all of these different people tied to her soul, her mind. And so watch this, when she meets the man that is her ordained husband, and I've seen this over and over again in the work we do, she can't even relate to him intimately or romantically because of all of the ideas and all of the experiences that are running through her mind.
So the sex that she's had is clouding her judgment for what's in front of her.
The sex, the personalities, the voices, the memories, the sense, the sexual, the different sexual experiences that reshape, her soul relative to what is pleasurable, all of those things.
So that same thing you don't believe can be said about men?
Absolutely, but it impacts us later. See, I didn't realize when I was doing all of that running around with all of these women, well, the community told me, you the man.
Yeah.
You the man. You got all these chicks, you the man. It wasn't until I got to a point in my life where I got tired of that and I realized I wanted to move in the direction of settling down with one ordained woman, that I realized my history was now challenging my destiny. I then realized it was a problem in my mind because just like the woman, I have all of these ideas of what I need, what I desire, what I want.
Yeah.
And so I'm bringing all of this stuff into a new. This is why you have men who fall on their knees and cry and sob and say to a woman, "I love you, I love you." But at the same time, he just got out of the bed with so and so, and the wife is like, "How you love me and you just got out the bed?" Soul ties. See, he didn't realize it in the beginning, but later when it's time for you to grow up and be a man and be a stand-up guy and be able to, stand on your square, that's when we realize the repercussions of it.
Okay, so when you talk to women and men and they are trying to break a soul tie, what is the first thing that you tell them to do?
The first thing that I tell anybody to do when you're seeking to break a soul tie is to really discover God for yourself. Now, I know, that means different things to different people. I'm wise enough and I'm sophisticated enough to respect that. For me, Jesus Christ. When God delivered me from the spirit of lust and all of these other things that are attached to that kind of lifestyle, I went into my little apartment and I thought I was going to just pray for, a few minutes. It turned into 2.5 days that I lay on my face in the presence of God, and I had a spiritual encounter with God unlike anything I had ever experienced before. And it was the power of God that literally broke the strength of all of those things that were holding me in bondage.
So this is you're in your apartment for 2 days, not even thinking that you would be there for 2 days.
Not even thinking I would be there for 2 days.
But you were just prostrate on the floor. Like, what is this? What does this look like?
Laying on the floor. I had at that time I had a little cassette tape recorder.
Oh, we know this back in the day.
Yeah, that's back in the day. Most of these children don't even know what no cassette thing is, And I had this little cassette with worship music on it. It was white folk singing because, back then, in that time, black folk wasn't into no worship music. We was more in the gospel, climbing up the rough side of the mountain and all that kind of thing. But this was like worship music where, the strings and they singing to God. And I knew something was different about it. And I just kept turning that tape over and I just kept playing it. And so there was this presence of God unlike I had ever experienced before. And God literally reached into my life, pulled out everything that was not like him. And I had a whole lot of stuff. This is long before therapy was a thing.
Yeah.
So God literally became my therapist, And when I got up from there, I got up from there with a freedom. And the first thing God instructed me to do was get rid of my little black book. That's another thing from back in the day.
Yeah.
Get rid of your little black book with all your phone numbers. Get rid of your beeper back in the day.
Yeah.
And I think I even got rid of whatever little cell phone I had. And I didn't know what that was all about, but that was God's way of showing me that I had to create an environment of no contact.
Yeah,
where
you
I
had to
couldn't contact.
disconnect.
I had to disconnect. Now we have language for it, no contact. So find your way into the presence of God by any means necessary. Eliminate access. Create a circle of accountability partners, people who want the best for you, people who are not going to enable bad behavior.
Yeah, yeah.
And, attune your ear to things that build you.
Yeah.
And then live your life day by day. Doesn't mean that you're not going to make mistakes, but you don't wallow there. You get up and you keep it moving. You keep it moving.
Yeah. When you are meeting people with these soul ties and having conversation and helping them through this, what do you think is like the hardest thing for people to disconnect from?
The personality, the sexual addiction to the individual, the sense of worth that we get from these soul ties. I didn't realize it at the time, but the reason I was running around with all those women is because I didn't have any self-esteem. I found my self-esteem in how many women I could have, how bad they could be. You know what I mean? How many I could play at a time. That's where I found my self-esteem. And so disconnecting from those things, just the painful sense of a lack of identity apart from an individual or individuals, because sometimes we have more than one. And just the addiction to a person's personality. They may be dysfunctional, they may be toxic, but that's all you've known.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, just getting people to a place where they are free to embrace the idea of a new normal.
Hey, Vault family, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this clip, make sure to check out our full interview on our channel at Vault Empowers Talks. We don't just scratch the surface. We dive deep into the lives of some of the world's most influential leaders and change makers. Don't forget to like, to comment, and be sure to subscribe for more inspiring conversations. See you next time.